This podcast contains an English accent that most of our Irish listeners will find offensive. Also, there may be some colourful language that you're going to find less offensive. Now, over to Ryan and Leon. Enjoy the podcast.
Your childhood is shown in your adult life, not in your childhood. Your childhood is evident in your adult life more than in your childhood. The events may have happened in your childhood, but the action, talking in actors' language, of those events is in the adult life. And then there are people who say, oh, that's absolute rubbish. Well, that tells me something about your childhood and about your attitude towards it, your relationship towards it. If you're in denial about what happened, then that's not a bad thing, by the way, but it is still a relationship to your childhood.
The voice of Lem Sissay, Saturday night primetime television in Ireland on the Tommy Tiernan show.
You love a bit of Tommy Tiernan, don't you?
I actually do. I think what I love about Irish primetime TV, it's just so warm. And like compared to the American stuff and even the English stuff, there's a different vibe. It's like a human warmth.
We're not out to get you.
Yeah, there's no fucking trick. And well, actually, the Late Late Show, I feel like you're being sold some shit every minute of that fucking show.
They give shit away though as well.
Yeah, but think about the money that the fucking companies are paying.
Fuck prime time. It's the longest running chat show in history.
The Late Late Show.
The Late Late Show is the longest consecutive running chat show.
Yeah, I don't know why people don't like it.
And I've mentioned it before on the podcast, but you'll notice the house lights are on because it's the town hall environment where they want people to be like included. And like you look at any other like British one or whatever it is, the house lights are off. The audience just clap and shut up.
Yeah, shut up. You're not as important.
I'm the star of the
off.
show. Whereas the Late Late, it's like, no, hi, my name's Bridie and I'm from Roscommon and I have an opinion. You know what I mean?
And they go straight to her.
They go straight to Bridie with the fucking gout.
There's some good clips you can go back. Who's the guy who did it after Gay Byrne? He's on the radio
Pat
still
Kenny.
now, Pat Kenny. He's arguing with a few audience members in a few YouTube videos.
Oh, yeah. Pat Kenny's the best in the Late Late Choy Show because he chats to the children like they're little humans. You're looking, what is your political stance? 10-year-old Timmy from Louth.
We're in new surroundings. I don't know if you can hear a little bit of a glow up here, but we're actually in the Dublin Central Library.
Yeah.
In the Eilean Centre.
We've got an upgrade. We've upgraded not only our technology, but we also have the ability to have special guests.
Well, we've snuck that in. We should have told you early on, really. We've got a guest in the house here.
We've got fucking poetry bleeding royalty in here now, haven't we?
Yeah, we do. Welcome to the show, EOB Emmet O'Brien.
Thanks very much, sir. Listen for having us. It's been a while since I've done any podcasts or anything, so it's steady.
Are you well?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm feeling very good today.
Yeah, that's good.
Dying for a pint.
To be fair, we'd usually have fucking vino or a pint, but library. Even though I'm sure, just coming through the Eilean Centre, I mean, there's a few hidden pockets of bottles of whiskey around
here, lad. No,
I know. It's an interesting library, isn't it?
I think I'd take methadone at this stage. All the travelling and all the terrible drinks.
Yeah, because you're on tour at the moment, aren't you?
I am, and I just came back from Edinburgh. It's going great so far, really nice. All the cities are beautiful and everybody's really sound. So.
You're in Paddy as well?
Paddy, well, I was just over there on a holiday there, just prepping and having a few chats about a couple of commissions and got a few new jobs over, so it's pretty good. It was steady.
You've done a few shows over there, haven't you?
Yeah, that was. I went to. Did I go to Paris before? I went to England, I think. I think one of the first international gigs I did was Paris. Yeah. There's a girl, Antonia Kremenko, her name is, and she runs most of the nights. And she reached out to us. So I've been over there about 2 or 3 times and going back over again later on next month. And
what's the crowd like?
French. They're very. If they don't like your work, they can let you know. And
really?
Like one of the things I've noticed is a lot of people who don't speak English would say stuff to me like, I didn't quite understand it, but I love the flow. I love the energy, and where the French, I just like slow down. Yeah, too quick, and they're very. They can be on you, but then at the same time, it's if you do something good and you get the compliment, it's genuine. You know what I mean? It's not this pat on the back and well done, lad. It's a very wholesome.
Deadly.
Yeah.
I remember I was at the Euros and they have 31 poets at it, competing, and they had a fella from France and he was competing, and he was obviously the unspoken word in French, but like the French language, and it's like French rap. Do you know what I mean? I haven't a fucking clue what they're saying, but it was unreal. It just sounded amazing. Just like, that kind of the way they use the language and stuff like that. It's unreal. So.
And Edinburgh.
Yeah.
Good scene.
Yeah, it's a massive scene over there. It's really big.
It's a right city for it, isn't it?
Because it's a student. There's a lot of colleges there which make it kind of more artsy anyway, but it's just a mad scene. I was listening to people. There's a big Asian demographic over there, and they do a lot like Mongolian folk music and stuff.
No way.
Yeah, like the night that I was doing my gig, there was 4. Like, I think the organiser said there was 4 other gigs happening that night. He was like, so I don't know how big of a crowd, and still packed it out. Like.
No way.
Yeah.
And it was like Mongolian music.
Yeah, they had a Mongolian folk player.
Genghis Khan shit, like.
Juniper Official, I think her name was, and she was like, so she translate as she sang and stuff. Oh, it was mad, yeah. And I'm sitting there about 6 tenants deep. I was like, go on, love.
That sounds like something you'd like stumble upon at like 6 a.m. at EP on a Saturday, going like, "What is this tent?"
Yeah.
Can we have a poem from you?
Yeah,
not too selfish to ask from you.
Yeah.
We can't fly them all the way over from Cabra in our private jet. We're not asking to do a poem for us.
No, we have to.
So yeah, I think I'll do a poem from the upcoming show that we can talk about later on, I'm sure. But it was a diary entry that I had initially written when I was coming back from a gig in Cork, and my friend Jeff took me to a pond that he said was like, there was fairies, Irish fairies.
This is the poet Jeff.
Yeah, the poet Jeff. Yeah, shout out the poet Jeff. The two of the Danum, I think they're called, or two of the Danum, or two and Enanum. Don't know, but he was like, come down and the fairies will speak to you as you read poetry. And I was just like, I don't know what you were talking. You're not driving home. Do you know what I mean? But he brought us to this pond, and as you start speaking, like the water starts to bubble in this really unconventional way. And so we all sat and wrote a poem, and then I went home and wrote this poem, and it's the opening to the show. February 6th, 2025. The fairies told me you were watching, as he sat by the brook in Tipperary. I felt you in the wind as midges danced in circles and flirted with each other solemnly. They let their wings intertwine to the tune of silence. The trees have regenerated leaves a decade over since our last correspondence left unresponded, as they often do. I wonder if your postal code extends beyond this plane, or if you have flown to the ether to become the breeze reincarnate, allowing the midges to waltz and provide us peace in rare moments like this moment by the fairy brook. I often ask myself, can I miss the parts of a person I no longer remember? The touch of your skin was once comfort, but now it's just a memory of a memory's memory. Your wise words have turned to fables. They are recounted as I wanted to hear them, but not entirely how they were said at the time. You always spoke a truth that beamed, and my eyes have become shadowed since. The fairies laughed as I taught and sung as I spoke, telling me that you were replaced by a changeling who was yet to understand their potential as a being, a supernatural entity capable of great feats whilst never finding a true purpose, because they cannot find a purpose when they don't understand what purpose is. The fairies told me that I've breezed through life letting greed dance upon me like the midges now do on you. They pirouette precariously, pampering my paws, sweeping their harmonies upon my skin. I wonder if they are comforted by me as I am to you. You are my blanket, my wings, my shield that stood defiantly in testudo formation, fronting enemy lions ready to pounce on my orders. I forever wish that I may stand beside you once again, my friend, covered like your tortoise, protected by your shell.
That was the poem February 6th by our guest today, Emmet O'Brien, which is the start of his tour piece. Like that, your set on tour is a 25-minute set, just flat out straight through, and that's the beginning of it.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So it was. I wrote the poem. I wrote the piece in one night, and I had a whole different show plan. The show has changed 3 times, and on February 6th I sat down and wrote a poem, and it ended up being, I think it's like 25-26 minutes, and it's not a poem though, it's a show. It's a theatrical piece, and I remember putting the pen down and just broke down crying. Like just
a release kind of.
Yeah. Like talking about the tour, like the whole reason why I started doing the tour was actually because of a book, where I was writing a book last year, and I said that I was bringing it out in November, and then around like July, I think I talked to you about this around the time, Leon. I was like, something just doesn't feel right with this book. I don't know what it is. It's just I had this piece of art, and I remember whenever I wrote a good piece, you sit back and you're just like, oh, this is it. But it wasn't that for me, you know. And so I said that I'd rewrite the whole thing. And then that all changed in October. Around the end of October, I ended up losing a couple of people that were really close to me. They passed away, and they were people from all stages of life. So my grandmother was included who was in her late stage, so on and so forth. And I remember sitting down and just one day having this really honest conversation with myself and said, like, I want to be remembered as an artist, and this book is not me as an artist. This is me as a sellout. And I had this realisation that the amount of stuff that I had done as an artist for monetary gain had made me not realise who I was anymore. And it was a very humbling like moment, because I had spent so much time being vocal about like places that exploit artists, but like I'm exploiting myself. And then trying to justify it. So I sat down and said, you know, I'm not really bothered with the book. Wrote a collection of pieces, maybe like 3 or 4 different pieces that was going to be the 27 Club tour. And I felt like that felt good, but I think that was like, because I was so angry at myself, it was like a form of therapy, where I was just kind of not necessarily talking about myself, but writing in this like vehement style, this really violent style, and like in your face. And it was a lot of like, I'm the best, and what I am is like nothing, and no one else is doing that. And then it felt good at the time, but then when I sat down after Cork and wrote this piece, I just realised that I once again was lying to myself, and this like realisation came in as like, let's just be real. And that's why it meant so much. It was so real, like it was just.
That reminds me of like at EP, we were sitting with Stephen James Smith, and we were interviewing him. Do you remember this conversation, Leon? And we were talking about like legacy and leaving your mark and like getting shit done. And he was like, the quick, as soon as you start thinking about the work you do as like a legacy leave behind, you kind of give it away. And you almost like lose a part of yourself whenever you think like that. And it reminds me of that conversation.
I think art as well, like when you're writing, it's you in a moment in time at that time, not you in general. So your writing changes as you get older, because you write about things like your situation changes a lot while you go through life, and therefore your writing will change, because it's like a mirror to yourself. So it sounds like you were kind of writing a poem for yourself.
Yeah, like what you were saying there, just to touch off it, I one of the things that I realised was that the newer poems that I had written were all of the same, very hip-hop based, right? So they were very like in your face, this is what I'm doing, have this, right? I wasn't writing about myself, but then the stuff that I had still performed were really real emotions, where I was very vulnerable, but I was past that stage of life now, so it wasn't as hard or as personal anymore. It was just easy, but it's still, I was getting gratitude off the emotion of people, how they were reacting. And I used to, even like little things, I'd be like, oh, I'm feeling sad, so now I'm going to make you cry and read a poem out. And that was a joke, but that's what it was, you know. And so it was like, yeah, this is where I'm at now, and this is the most vulnerable that I'm going to be in the best of ways, and in the very sad ways, you know?
Yeah, it's almost as if sometimes like the thing that you might be known for, the thing that you might be most successful for, can be your own fucking prison. A little bit. I felt that way a little bit as well when I started to kind of perform and stuff. I kind of felt like, oh, but people just want to have a bit of a laugh in the shagging poem and like things like that. And when you try to, and also life brings you to different phases as well. So sometimes you're not that guy and you're different, but like you're kind of prisoned in this like world where like the preperception of you will stop you from writing things that are like vulnerable and good. A lot of the time,
you don't be put in a box and be like, this is you're the funny poet, the angry poet, like any artist. You don't want to be people to expect a certain image from you, and that's what with great artists, they change form every couple of years. Like even when I watched fucking the Bob Dylan movie, and he's literally getting cans thrown at him because he picked up an electric guitar. You know what I mean? And like people were so like, it has to be folk, it has to be stripped back, you can't have a band. And he's like, fuck yous. And he went and like was a Highway 61 Revisited is like it's like one of the most influential albums in music of all time, and it's because he went electric and he was raging against the machine. We'll say. Will we say that?
There's a balance though, because I saw Tom Jones in 2015 when he was all into his roots music, and he brought a roots band with him, and he had written his own album, and I think he only sang like Kiss, and Your Kiss. That was the only like cover that he did, and he didn't play any of his tracks from before.
Really?
So everyone's fuming, and I was fuming as well.
Apparently, that man had sex with 10,000 women.
I'd well believe that. I'd well believe that.
He's a good-looking fella, isn't he? Fucking hell.
So are Tom Jones as well.
Yeah.
We at the start of the show, we listened to the voice of Lem Sissay, right? And he was talking about childhood.
Yeah.
I think as well, coming to a library doing this triggers my thoughts of my childhood as well, because I remember the library being. Maybe this is quite common for people that come from a certain background where you don't have a printer, or you don't have internet. And there's still like the people you can walk around here, you can kind of tell like the kind of demographic what's going on. I remember coming in and maybe having my first CV printed at a library, and in the library in Wolverhampton, you'd have to go to the front desk for them to see what you were printing. So I remember like going up and going like, oh yeah, hi again, here's 10 CVs. And you go around the city and like dropping them off to pubs and stuff. But I just remember it like the start of the humbling experience of trying to find your place in the world, and it was supported by a library and its free fucking services. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know what it was like for you two when you were younger in a library, but like it was really important for people where I'm from, where like it's the only thing that can help you to put your hand up and be seen in the world.
Well, I told you that about my criminal conviction of libraries.
Yeah, we spoke about that.
We talked
last week about
that. It's still a sensitive subject. I'm surprised they let me into this library, to be honest, after the antics I did when I was 10. I didn't return a library book for 2 years.
Yeah, you got done in.
And then they €32. I didn't have that money. I didn't have that money. It was 28 punt originally, but then they changed over after I left it for a couple of years. But like, look, we're not going to talk about that. It's a sensitive subject.
Did you pay?
I think they forced me to pay. Yeah, they forced me against my will. That's probably why I'm allowed in here now.
Yeah, fair.
I've expunged. I got me indulgences. They let me into poetry.
Well, this is paying. You paying back culturally.
Yeah.
Well, we listened to a poem from Len.
Yeah, please.
I've got a poem right here. It's beautiful, this one. This is a poem from Len Sissay.
I know that the people can't see what's going on here, but do you have your initials on your phone case on the back of that phone?
Why would you do this?
I love this so much.
Well, we've been talking about
his laptop.
I have my laptop as
I
well.
just have to put pictures of
It's
that
all
now
about
on it.
fucking brand.
You've got to have
This
the
is
branding,
great.
baby, I'm telling you.
And the Poetry's Dead cup as well.
He'd have a Ryan Duggins card if he drove.
Look, listen, you know what I'm about, man. You got to fucking make it work. Do you know what I mean?
Adore this.
You've done me there.
baby.
Fair play. This is a poem from Lem Sissay. It's called Invisible Kisses. If there was ever one whom when you were sleeping would wipe your tears when in dreams you were weeping, who would offer you time when others demand, whose love lay more infinite than grains of sand. If there was ever one to whom you could cry, who would gather each tear and blow it dry, who would offer help on the mountains of time, who would stop to let each sunset soothe the jaded mind. If there was ever one to whom when you run will push back the clouds so you are bathed in sun, who would open arms if you would fall, who would show you everything if you lost it all. If there was ever one who when you achieve was there before the dream and even then believed, who clear the air when it's full of loss, who would count love before the cost. If there was ever one who when you are cold will summon warm air for your hands to hold, who would make peace in pouring rain, make laughter fall in falling rain. If there was ever one who can offer you this and more, who in keyless rooms can open doors, who in open doors can see open fields, and in open fields see harvests yield, then see only my face in reflection of these tides through the clear water beyond the riverside. All I can send is love in all that this is, a poem and a necklace of invisible kisses.
That was Invisible Kisses by Lem Sissay.
We're about a week too late, I think, with the Valentine's Day for that poem, but it's still a gorgeous one, isn't it? Yeah.
Very nice. What do you think?
It's a little lovely one, yeah. I've never, like I was saying, I've never heard of this fella before, you know what I mean? And
yeah.
It seems like my whole perspective now is opened up to a new power. Manchester has some serious stuff in the water, doesn't it?
Yeah. He's actually Chancellor of the University of Manchester for like 7 years. He was the London 2012 official poet.
So is this just like me now? Is this like someone saying, I've never heard of like Messi or something before?
No. At all.
Okay, right.
He's on the Tommy
I'm
Taylor
spoofing.
show.
Yeah, that's mad.
But I think someone in poetry in Ireland works for Tommy Tiernan, you know, the Tommy Tiernan show, because you had John Cooper Clarke, the Go-Go Heart, Paul and Meehan was on it as well.
No, I just reckon that it's more of a reflection on how far poetry's gone.
Yeah.
So, you know, it really is. And I think like, you talked about the Late Late Show. The Late Late Show are fantastic, but I don't think they put poets on.
No.
And I think... You know, I don't know why they don't do that, but they don't do it. And they have had a few poetry performances though. Like Stephen James Smith has performed at it. Natalia O'Flaherty's performed on it.
Felly Speaks,
I think, did it, but it's not ever like an interview thing. They always just have your 3 minutes or your 4.
Kind of
yeah. Or here's a performance from. I don't know why they don't interview them. Maybe they're afraid of the radicalism. Who knows?
Maybe. They had Emmett Kirwan on the show, didn't they? If you go to YouTube and go poet Late Late Show, you'll just see Emmet Kirwan on the sofa.
He classed himself as a playwright and actor.
Oh, well,
and then on top,
he does do poetry.
There's a mad thing about RTE that I've noticed, not a reflection on RTE, but the viewership and the demographic that they have. Like they get a lot of negative feedback on stuff that you would think would be kind of beneficial. Like Kneecap were on it, and they got really bad slated on RTE, not by RTE, but by like comments. It was like, these people are a disgrace to the Irish language and stuff. So maybe it's just they have a specific demographic that maybe doesn't want to hear that.
It's an older demographic for the likes of the Late Late Show, unless it's the toy show. And then you have obviously like Radio 1 as well would be an older demographic. It'd be like you're talking at least 40s up. Their main core audience is like 55 to 65. You know, so it depends on what you're getting. Maybe they think, if someone's a bit radical, they might be a bit like, ooh, but like, you have to have different
That's
voices.
punk though, isn't it? I mean, you've been in the middle of it, Emmett, really, like for since you started writing, probably before being like the epicenter of the poetry scene in Dublin. So like, do you still see it as punk, and do you still see it as something that has reached a crescendo since you started to do it, where we're in public consciousness and we're at a bubble bursting moment, or what's the crack?
I don't know if poetry was ever. I think the scene stays the same and changes. I know it's a really stupid answer to give, but I think when you're looking at it now, I think there are characters in it that are still as radical, and I think there's characters in it that are as pristine, and I think it's suitable for all kind of audiences. I just think there's more eyes on it now. I think we are seeing an age where it's not like, here is 4 stanzas of poetry while I hold my book, which is the way that has been. I think you have spoken word that's coming in. I really hate when people call it like spoken word poetry, because I see them as two separate art forms. But I get it, like it's spoken word poetry, that's the name. But I think that has really changed the game, the scene.
Have you heard performance poetry as well?
Yeah, I don't like that either. I just think it's spoken word.
They call it performance poetry as well. In a way, it's true, but like spoken word is spoken word.
They used to call it urban poetry.
Oh,
I was called an urban poet for a long time.
Urban poet.
Yeah.
What about like fucking regional people from like back or somewhere down spoken word? Is that?
You're doing the words, aren't you?
You're doing the big words there. That's regional urban poetry.
The tour you're on, Emmett, you're in various locations. You're actually in Dublin the day after this goes out.
Oh, deadly.
So the 5th, I think.
Yeah, the 5th. Yeah.
This goes out on the Monday, so you're performing on the Tuesday.
The Wednesday.
Oh, the Wednesday.
Yeah,
so that's when it's. So Wednesday the 5th. That's where Emmett is going to be performing out of Workman's. In the UK leg though, there's a couple of other poets. So who is on the tour?
So I picked different people for every venue, just to kind of get local poets in. So I do Dublin on the 5th with Jan Brierton, Eilean Ni Chuillinean, Mikey Cullen, the poet Jeff, Kev Kennedy, D. Fitz. Then after that we go to Margate on March 12th. That's Harry Baker's tour, but I'm kind of just doing a few bits with him. He was nice enough to let me on. And then we go March 14th, and that's in London with Cormac Fitz, the All-Ireland Slam champion, Isabel Dorda, who's a prolific poet over in the UK, and then Bradley Taylor, who's a Brummy poet and an event organiser.
Let's share a poem from Bradley. So I think it was you who must have shared a poem from him a couple of weeks back, called "Got a Light."
Have you got a light, mate? Yeah.
So I think we have to listen to that now.
Yeah,
and I want to talk to you about it because I'm interested in what it was like growing up in a place that maybe wasn't that hospitable to an individual or someone creative. I think it's interesting when you're the one that's a little bit different or creative, and I think that's what I got from him. Because I've been in pubs and ducked old lads that I used to know at school because of fucking, you just want to get out of the way. So I think it's an interesting
You
poem.
get the question of, you still doing the poetry, are you? Yeah, pal. Or I'd be like, I have a couple of jobs, and like, what are they? I'm like, well, 3 of them are poetry jobs, and they're like, oh yeah. I'm like, sorry, I'm not carrying blocks, like, but it's.
What you know what? What I really mean, and this isn't. I don't know if you two have had the same thing, but I feel I let down a couple of the lads from where I'm from because I didn't stay, or I didn't do. In my head, when I was about 14, 15 years old, I chose to not hang around the parks anymore.
Yeah.
And go to the, go bullying people or fucking smashing up, whatever what was going on. And them lads, I mean, they're still in the locals when I go back, and they're still in the same groups. So I've been in like my local, where I worked behind the bar as well, where I've seen a group of 6 lads that are in the corner that I used to know, and gone, I'm going in the lounge.
Yeah.
I'm going in the fucking lounge here because I feel a sense of shame, a little bit, that I didn't buckle down and graft it with them lot. I don't know if that's resonating with you two, but like that's how I kind of feel. And that's this poem we'll listen to kind of made me think, fucking hell, yeah, the lad that comes over to him is like, got a light, mate, who are you? And you're that guy. I'm fearful of that happening to me. Really? Yeah. Well, let's listen to it and we'll have a chat about it. So this is Bradley Taylor with Got a Light.
Oi! Oi! You got a light, mate? I said, have you got a light, mate? Here, for me straight, you see, mate, I've just bum one off my missus' father's cousin's brother's dog, mate, because I don't usually smoke, mate, so I've had a drink, see, mate, and I'm on the lash with the lads, see, mate, and old habits are hard to kick, and you ain't teaching this old dog new tricks, so, you got a light, mate? I said, have you got a light, mate? Here, for me, wait, don't I know you? Ain't you that dickhead kid from down the road from Days, mate? The one who always wore his charity shop suit to sixth form, was the only boy in the drama class. Yeah, that's you, mate. The one who got chased home when you were in year 7 by us year 11s, getting buried in the snow. Good times, eh, mate? And it's good to see you, mate. And if you got a light for your old mate, or maybe even a vape, I said, have you got a light, mate? Got a light? Because I swear you used to have one right within your eyes, glowing like headlights. I saw it when you did your one-man performance of Mamma Mia in year 7, when you necked off with that boy behind the bins in year 11, and we caught you. Been nearly a decade now, hasn't it, mate? And all those years just ran straight by us like I used to be able to on the pitch. Do you see me motor outside, mate? Little Ford Focus, mate. You know, at night I like to turn off the lights and I rub right up against it. Gets me about town, see, mate. Past all these old furniture shops and curry houses turned craft beer bars. I fucking hate them, mate. Can't beat your local, can you? Local like me and you, mate. And how is your mother, mate? Is she well? Yeah, mine passed about 2 years ago now, mate. Family ain't been the same since, but at least we got all those years to hang on to, eh, mate? Like those charcoal portraits Miss Moisey made us do in year 8. Mine one with a smudged head and brain all over the place, apparently a self-portrait. I said, have you got a light, mate? And can you light it for me, mate, because I can't see straight, and all these memories are just flooding straight through. I said, have you got a light, mate? Because I swear me and you used to have one right within our eyes. Faded slowly, didn't it, mate? Now I got 2 dead dogs and a divorce under me ever-widening belt, and you're still wearing the same old suit. So have you got a light, mate? Because I think we could both do with one, couldn't we? And him, K-holing in the corner, and them holding the hand of a stranger, and all of us who forgot the light was ever there, shivering now in the uncertainty, because we're all just trying to be, aren't we? Something or someone. Is that what you're trying to be now, mate? And you know what, mate? I know you've got a light. You know why, mate? Because I can see it in you still. And if I can still see it in you, mate, maybe, just maybe, I can still see it in me. So if you got a light, mate, because I don't usually smoke, but tonight I'm fucking desperate. Thank you very much.
That was Bradley Taylor with Got a Lie.
There's so many lads I've met in the local that are like that.
Yeah.
That I'd know from school, and they'd meet you outside in the smoking area and go, "Do you remember school? That was great." And I'm like, your life must be shit if you thought school was great, because school was fucking terrible.
Yep.
You know, it's they hang on to the past because the past is all they have, and it's like desperate. You know what I mean? There's so many people out there that are like that, and you feel this kind of like, I don't know about you, but you'd meet somebody like that in the pub, right? And people that wouldn't have been nicer to you when you were back then, and you know that they're working a shit job, and you know they've got ugly kids, and you know that they're not really happy with themselves.
Yeah.
And you feel this kind of like, haha, but then you also feel bad because you feel bad for them, but not in a kind of, I pity you kind
not
of way.
in a judgy way.
You feel bad that you feel bad for them in that sense. You know what I mean? We're like, you get like a split second of, like, you know, this is great that you're doing it. Then you also automatically, you're instantly, you feel this kind of bad about that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like a split second switch.
It's true, man. It's true. And like the amount of times that, like in locals, and even like it usually happens when you go back for Christmas to your hometown, and like there's a pub party you go to, and like someone catches you in a smoking area, and they're a twat at school or a bully, and they kind of go. I always feel like what they're really trying to say is, we did well, didn't we, mate? It worked, didn't it? Like life worked, didn't it? Didn't it? Tell me that it did work, because I'm not and you're like, 100%, yeah.
They're
and kind of going like,
for your kind of,
fucking leave me alone, kind of thing.
For your stamp of approval, which is
I
very
think, well,
odd.
we all are a little bit, but like, I think certainly,
There's one thing when you look at like especially because all of us we grew up in kind of like more working class, less affluent areas, you know. A lot of it does have to stem back to jealousy, and it's a cliche thing being said, but like I think people will see, like you're talking about earlier on with creatives and feeling shame about being a creative, or early on in life they will see people who are individual. Like, I'm sure all of us were individual when we were younger, and Bradley was definitely individual, wearing suits and charity shop stuff, and I think they kind of envy that a bit, you know, because they aren't really able to do that, you know. They might not have the facilities, they might not have the maturity, they might not have anything. There's so many people that I know in school that were really, that maybe not even directly bad to me, but people that were like, they're real dodgy, and I later on kind of grew up, and I wouldn't say I'm friendly with them, but I definitely know them, and a lot of them were very poor growing up, or like, you know, maybe had less of a good time at home, or maybe you know, school was very hard for them because they weren't the most educationally intelligent. They're the people that I think bully, like, you know. So when I look at people nowadays and like going back to it, I feel an anger. I feel like I want to go over and say something to them, or like when they're like, "Oh, that's great," and I'm like, "But it wasn't great." But then at the same time, it's trying to understand why they think it was great, because they're trying to hold on to that one time before they realised they were just a statistic. Yeah,
but I think you and all three of us probably remember maybe a one-on-one conversation with a lad who was part of a gang or a group of lads who were doing things they shouldn't have been, and on a one-on-one were not mental. Like, would see you as a bit of a light, and you'd actually have a conversation with someone, and it wouldn't be about, you know, what you're doing later on and what you're going to be drinking and who you're going to be robbing, who you're going to be smashing doors in. Like, it would be real. And I think about those conversations a lot, you know, from just one-on-one chats. So like, never in a group, because the group is the pack. You just do whatever the group's doing. There was a mad thing that I got when working in prisons, that it was one of the few environments where I felt like there'll be like 3 or 4 people in a room talking openly, and that was the only time I've ever seen something like that happen. The rest is like I say, one-on-one, but like when I worked in prisons, there's lads sitting there that have murdered people, and they're sitting down and they're like, "Look, I done this because of how my life went, and I want to change it," and they really open up about it. It's powerful, you know?
I think as well with teaching, from having that, what I was saying about meeting the fella in the pub, just to bring it back to that, it was like, again, I'd be teaching in schools, and like seeing And you know as well, because you teach in schools as well, and it's like, when you get to see that bird's eye view, of, as the point you were talking about there, where someone might not have a great home life. And it took me to go back into a school, because when I was like, for most of my adult life, I'd hold that kind of anger of people that weren't great in school, where they were part of the pack and stuff like that. But from coming in from a bird's eye perspective and from like an adult's perspective and going, right, well, they might not have had, it took me to go back into school to realise they might not have had a great time outside of school. They had a great time in school, but they might not have had a great time outside of school, and it took me to come back into that kind of environment to realise that, you know. So, yeah, interesting. Great poem, though.
Great poem.
Yeah.
You know, great poem. I wanted to kind of see if you've been reading anything.
Yeah, I'll read a little poem. I'm just going to read a Saul Williams poem, because this is nothing else.
This
Love a Saul Williams poem.
Yeah, this is a poem that inspired a lot of stuff. It's from his movie called Slam, and I'm pretty sure I probably recited to the bounties multiple times. I recite to everyone all the time, but it's called The Wind Song by Saul Williams. I could get used to that introducing stuff. It's like a DJ, isn't it? This
Should have
is.
put the headphones on.
Oh, maybe in a while. Yeah, we'll loosen up.
Like, Ryan, maybe spin that track.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Wind Song. You massage the universe's spine, the way you twirl through time and leave shadows on the sun. My love is the wind song. If it is up to me, I'll never die. If it is up to me, I'll die tomorrow 1,000 times over within an hour and live 7 minutes later. If it is up to me, the sun will never cease to shine and the moon will never cease to glow, and I'll dance 1,000,000 tomorrows in the sun rays of the moon waves and bathe in the yesterdays of days to come, ignoring all of my afterthoughts and preconceived notions. If it is up to me, it is up to me. And thus is my love, untainted, eternal. The wind is the moon's imagination wandering. It seeps through cracks, ripples the grass, explores the unknown. My love is my soul's imagination. How do I love you? Imagine.
That was Saul Williams with The Wind Song, a poem you carry around with you.
Yeah, it's always up in the noggin, yeah. It's inspired so many pieces. I remember watching that Slam movie, and he has 2 poems in it. One is called The Wind Song and the other is called Shaclack Clack. And it's like an out-of-body experience listening to it, you know what I mean? It's insane.
I haven't actually seen it. I have to watch that film.
Yeah, same.
I heard very good things, mostly from you.
Yeah. I'm obsessed. Yeah. It's all about kind of like, I think it was like sort of autobiographical, but no, it's about a poet that goes into prison and then someone teaches him this love for art and he gets out and makes a life for himself. But it really shows once again that working class inner city living where you have to make yourself something, you know.
Yeah.
So, talking about that, right? Did you feel like growing up you had to make yourself for something?
Yeah. Sorry, I don't know why I stumbled on that. Of course, yeah, I acted like a hard man the whole time, or like I either acted like a hard man or I was known as the annoying kid in class. So I'd always be like doing something or like trying to kind of make a scene or something like that.
Backchatting was really common in people that are just a little bit, not just different, but like really intellectually stimulated. Like just like backchatting to teachers. It's not like a chavvy thing.
No. It's
just like because when I was backchatting, it was like, "Are you sure about that?"
I do that, but then I'd also just be that weird dude that just shouts something out randomly, or try to get a reaction. It's because I didn't feel like I had any friends around. I wanted just attention. Do you know what I mean? Because I wasn't really happy. And then when I got into like 5th and 6th year, I was just kind of more like, I don't really care anymore. There was one dude in 5th and 6th year that used to give me a really horrible time, and I remember like that was kind of the only time that I changed myself for somebody. Do you know what I mean? Because I was like, I was terrified, but I was putting on this front, like, do you know what I mean? I remember one day he squared up to me with a hurley in his hand, and I remember like I was just about ready to wet myself, but I was standing there being like, go on, do it then. I know 10 people that come around here. Do you know what I mean? And I knew no one. So yeah, kind of like that. I actually saw him when I left and started doing stuff in poetry, and yeah.
Did you?
Did he ask you for a light, mate?
Yeah, kind of. He just bragged about it. It was mad awkward. He was sitting there, and he wasn't even like that kind of thing where it was like, oh yeah, do you remember these times? He was just like, yeah, you're still a weirdo, and it's just like, okay, man, yeah, that's cool. You working.
Yeah.
You work away on what you're doing, and I don't really care. I genuinely didn't care. Like,
I found as well, like growing up, you play a character because you want people to like you, and then as you get older, you start being yourself, and you realise, fuck, people actually like me more when I'm not playing whatever imaginative person I want to be, pretend to be. It's just be yourself.
Where do you think the balance is from like finding your people as well, though? Because I remember even at uni lying about everything, lying about where I came from. I think I even put like a London accent on for like 3 years of like being at uni. There are lads now, right? Lads that I do like go to reunions of staffs going like, your voice is changing. Your dad's not from fucking West London. I was like, no. But you just hope that they forget. I just like phase my accent back to where I came from. So maybe that was just because I didn't feel like I ever really fit in. Because I don't know how you felt, but like I always wanted to write because I thought it was quite cool, but I was never like educated that well when I was young and never did homework or anything. So like I was always kind of scraping through every layer of education. It was like fucking C student, fucking how you're going to fail if you don't get that exam done. Boom, last ditch fucking 95th minute equaliser job, throughout the whole education. So like I never really felt like I was smart enough to be in these rooms, but I was in rooms because I studied like creative writing. So I'm with these people that are just not me. So I'm like lying. Yeah, this is me. It's like, I think it's about finding your people as well as being confident.
In school, I was pretty similar. Like even now, like I don't spell stuff right or anything. Do you know what I mean? I just like poetry. Like I still get, I'm still getting a lot of stuff wrong. I wouldn't ever have done well in school. I didn't find the right people for ages though. And you know what made it worse? I found a group of people that some of them now I'm still friends with, and some of them I'm not. And they were great people, but they were just really, really bad together. So like I had a lot of friends that were like, I felt like I found the right group, but it was just everybody doing drugs all the time and just a load of lost people that came together. So like finding people was real. Even now I get really confused about it. I feel like I'd be talking to someone and I'd go on a session with them and I'd be like, oh now this is like we're brothers. Do you know what I mean? And it's just like, nah, you don't know this dude and he doesn't know you and you're not his friend. Do you know? Like in the most politest way. Yeah, finding your group is very important.
Do you think that it's easier when you become yourself? Your group, they'll be drawn to you, rather than you seeking out a group. If you're yourself, they will come to you because they'll be like, I like that person.
Yeah. And you find it through similar interests. Like you still found each other through poetry.
We found you through poetry.
Yeah, I found the poet Jeff through poetry. So like that's leaning into what you want to do, and other people are leaning into it as well.
Being our authentic selves.
Will I give you a poem about this sort of thing?
Go on, right?
Yeah, I might give you a poem. We did this. I did this poem in the pub last week. No, I've never been skiing. Yeah, it's about like finding your people. So this one's called No, I've never been skiing. A slice of toast or a KFC. Who knew the crack? Well, they definitely didn't. The day before payday. 52 rolls of the dice a year. A pie in the sky or a kebab in your dreams. Sitting in my bedroom, hoping how they got on. The week that was. The corner shop took a cheque. An IOU for a pack of Marlboro Blue. And why did the telly need £1 to watch News Round? I never asked. I wasn't innocent. Hid crisps in my room on shopping day. Ordered expensive clothes from the catalogue. Lacoste trainers. Lecoq sportive joggers and a Kangol shirt that fit crisp after bath day. Sat around a gas fire, a knife through a slice, toasting one side then the other, and stuffing our faces with bread and best butter, singing and dancing on a carpetless floor 5, 6, 7, 8, the Macarena, Top of the Pops in the background. That was life, and what a life of love and support. And dirty clothes for school. And getting teased for having a shit gaff. No wonder I've got a sense of humour. So pal, to answer your question, I'm sure après ski is brill. But I've never been fucking skiing. And I never fucking will.
That was No, I've Never Been Skiing by the great Dugsy Malone. Unreal.
Thanks pal.
I had about 6 Guinness in me last time I heard that poem. It's even better here in sober.
There's something good. I think we've all done that. We've done rounds of poetry in a pub, and I just think that's what life's about.
Oh, it is, yeah. No, it's great. I think it is great how the poem is framed, where it's like, no, I've never been skiing, but it's like you come from a different world than that, but why would you want to seek out the world? Like that sounds fucking shit. A lot of knee accidents in skiing.
Yeah, forget it.
People get fucked up in skiing.
Forget it.
Why would I want to do
interested.
that?
Fuck off.
No. Fuck that, like, do you know what I mean? I'd rather be in me gaff.
Have you been skiing since?
No.
You're not out there.
No, I can't do it.
You know what I mean? You can't do.
I'd be calling you out on the slopes.
Not arse as well. Like, but it's just one of them things. It's just such a big part of my visceral connection that seems to be quite loose now to my past. I'll never fucking do it anyway.
You'll have no knee injuries on the slopes.
Exactly. My knees won't be up for it anyway.
Do you know what I mean? You can go snowshoeing though. It's like they have these little claws you stick on your shoes and you can trek through the mountains on a little walk. It's not as fun as skiing, I imagine, but I've done it before.
Have you?
You're just like walking, like hiking, but through snow.
The problem is now, like, we've got the jacuzzi. James Mooney, the Wandering Paddy's going to be listening to this going like, he is a snob. I knew he was a snob.
I was in fucking Canada, okay? You have to go. I was just walking.
Yeah, right.
I was just walking. Don't be fucking playing.
You're in Geneva.
How dare you say that to me, alright? I'm going to read out a poem, right, do you ever... I write on my phone a lot. Do you write on your phones?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so... Do you ever write something and then forget about it and then you find it again and then you think, I didn't write that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was Googling this. Like furiously thinking, I fucking stole this from someone. And I've spent days looking for at it. It doesn't exist. I didn't steal it off anybody. I wrote it myself. But I found it and I think it was, I woke up, you know when I've oftentimes where we going to sleep, you're kind of going to sleep. Not that like you wake up in the middle of the night and you just start writing. No, it's like as you're starting to drift off, or if you're napping or whatever, and you come out, you're like, I need to write something down.
Yeah.
Come see ya.
So that's why I wrote this, and I think that's why I forgot about it because I was half fucking asleep when I wrote it. A true moment of creativity is not the generation of new ideas. No. It is receiving a frequency from the universe, feeling it enter your mind from the depths of the abyss and energy, to be moulded into something delicately shaped, and then to convince the world that it's yours.
That was a moment of creativity by Leon Dunn.
You're out of it.
Yeah. Are you convinced now you wrote it yourself?
I probably did. I can't wait. I hope someone listens to this and then goes, no, it's this person. Because it's either I wrote it or someone else did and they can tell me and it'll stop wrecking my brain. But for the moment, I'm claiming it as my own. So.
But the lightning can hit you at any point.
Yeah.
I think you've said this before where, like, you've had to kind of leg it away from, like, on a date or something with Faye and just gone, I need to write something now, leave me alone.
No, walking down the street and said, 20 minutes, give me 20 minutes and
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
it. Like, you know what I mean? But
You have to.
because you can't.
It's gone.
It's a memory of a memory once you lose it, you know?
Yeah.
I've written a lot of poems on the jacks.
Yeah.
Right. You're like, even when you're out, you're like, I'm just going to the bathroom, sit on the jacks, write a poem. Or if you're just on your phone on the jacks and you go, oh yeah. It's my den of tranquility.
We can't control what happens.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We have a bit of music to wrap the show, haven't we?
We do. We're going to be getting Mike Gary on the show on a later episode. So I thought to warm the cockles, we'd have a little listen of his music. Now, have you seen Mike Gary, Emmet?
I've never met him. No, we've talked about it online, but never met. I've seen videos, obviously.
Yeah. I saw him support John Cooper Clarke last year. Yeah, some experience. A little bit like the John Cummins experience, really.
Yeah,
it was like, wow, this is magical. And I think with his, we'll know with the song we're going to share, he's got a way of sounding quite, not childlike, but like he's got that kind of wonder about him. Like he's still, but in his voice, he's like, it could be a 6-year-old dreaming. Do you know what I mean? But he's like a 55-year-old man, whatever. But
he's gone on tour as well, so he's gone all over Ireland with his quartet. Cassia string quartet.
Yeah. I'm going to share a track from that quartet now. And before we do so, maybe Emmet, we'll ask. Can we get one more from you? Maybe is there time?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Is there all time for a little poem?
A little small one, yeah.
And on the 5th of March, Workman's. I'll be there definitely for sure. I'm always at these gigs raising me fucking fists. So let's go. I'm buzzing for it. So it's at Workman's on the 5th. Kick off about what, 7?
Doors are 7:30. Show starts at 8, so it'll be 8 till about 10:30. It's a Wednesday, so we're not going to keep it too long.
Good man.
So this is a poem called Knitted Jumpers, and it's for my mum. She said she shows love through knitted jumpers, for she doesn't have much time left and takes solace in weaving her love through fabrics that will touch my skin, keeping her life eternal as she is eternal through me. And I carry this joyously. She asked, "Do you appreciate your life?" My eyes can no longer hold the weight of lies, and I utter the cold truth. She asks why I continue. I tell her because I adore life itself, and when she questions why, my voice replies, I know that life will make me the man that I should be, the man that I am yet to become, the man who no longer strives for perfection, but the man who knows he completes the lives of others. I see a smile, a sight incomparable. The air quivers warden through her teeth. They serenade me. They say there is only one thing to learn. To me you have always been that man. The stitches that sew us together.
That was Knitted Jumpers by Emmet O'Brien. It's been a beautiful show, lads. It's been dense, deep,
emotional,
reflective.
Yeah.
Introspective.
We're like onions. We have layers, like always.
I've enjoyed it, man. Emmet, thank you so much for coming along.
Thank you very much for having us. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's been
really nice.
Looking forward to hearing a bit of Mike Garry now. Leon Dunn, thanks for your time.
Always a pleasure, never to char, Ryan. Bay.
And Emmet, why don't you introduce what's coming up?
Thanks very much for having us on, lads. And to finish it off, we have Tonight by Mike Garry and the Cassia String Quartet.
Tonight, I just want to paint pictures of you, write poems and songs and novels all about you. I want to hold you up so high, you're gonna need a spacesuit. I want to walk down the avenues and streets of this town with you by my side. Wake up with you every morning after falling asleep with you every night. I'm gonna carve your profile into the sides of rocky mountainsides and write your name across an empty beach at low tide. Letters 4 feet tall and 10 feet wide. I love to speak your name aloud, simply 'cause I love its sound. And it feels like I'm kinda calling you. It feels like I'm kinda talking to you. It feels like I'm trying to break through. Do you know, across this divide? 'Cause we live such separate lives. And all the miles and miles and miles and miles and miles that divide. And I'm usually on the end of some phone late at night or looking for Wi-Fi. I tell you what, let's slip beyond the confines of this world. Let's forget every single thing we've learned. Let's rewrite the way this world does turn. Let's rewrite life's rule books. With new eyes, new minds, we'll find new lives and new times for our life. and all the things that we find divine, then we can remap and reshape the context of each day and redesign and redefine our lives and our times. And we can build new mountains for us to climb. And when we reach the top, we look out at all we own, all we've built and all that we survey. We'd happily give it all away, because we have each other, and we have love today.